The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed, it's a gutter. There's no happy endings in this life. So this is my message to you. The streets will never love you back.
Pow. What's up, guys? Well, it's good to thank God it's Friday. We got a nice weekend ahead. It's supposed to be beautiful out in New York City. Hopefully it's nice where you guys are at too. Now, I got another story for you today. I got a Bath Avenue story for you. Now, this is the story about the Bay Parkway kids, Chestnut, Paulie G. Now, this beef with Bay Parkway all started over a girl, okay? There was this girl in our neighborhood that lived on Bay 20th, between Bay 20th and Bay 19th, next to the Cropsey Lounge. And her name was Angel or Angelique. I used to call her Angelique. She was a good girl. And every time I seen her, I always said hello to her. And I was always polite to her. I was one of those that was polite. Paulie G really didn't care for her. I don't know. Someone must have dated her. And then she started hanging out with kids from 20th Avenue. I call them the Bay Parkway kids, but they're really from 20th Avenue. And one time, what happens is the kids from Bay 23rd, they go to an amusement park. It could have been Great Adventure, Action Park, whatever it was back then. But I remember one time in Action Park, when I went with them, we had a hell of a time. Jumping off of cliffs onto other people. I mean, we were wild kids running all over the place. The security guards were chasing us, and they eventually kicked us out of there. And then eventually what they do is they shut down Action Park because a lot of people were getting hurt. So Chestnut and the kids from Bay 23rd go to Great Adventure in Jersey. So when they get there, they're going to have a good time. And this girl, Angel, is there with a couple other kids from 20th Avenue. And this is how the beef starts. Now, the kid Arthur that Chestnut kills is actually a friend of mine. I know him. I actually went to Great Adventure with him, with some kid Richie from Gravesend, and a few other kids from Gravesend Avenue U, Avenue T, Avenue S. I have a lot of family out there, and my father lived out there for a couple years before he went down to Manhattan, and I actually grew up down there. I used to go to PS 97 on Stillwell Avenue when I was a kid, and then we moved back to Bath Avenue. I was born on Bath Avenue, Bay 22nd and Bath, and then my parents moved towards Gravesend. And then once my mother and father separated, my mother moved towards Bath Avenue. So the kid Arthur is a good kid. The kid Arthur was originally from, I think, West 3rd Street and Avenue T, if I'm correct, or Avenue S. And every time I seen Arthur on Avenue, we were very respectful towards each other. And, we always hugged. Hey, Arthur, how are you? How's everything? And he had another friend. His name was Joe Crash. Joe Crash, also same thing. Every time I seen him, I was very friendly with him. He was very friendly with me. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing? Hey, Joe, how's everything? Well, what happens is Chestnut and these kids end up having a beef in Great Adventure. After they have the beef, Chestnut comes back home and he tells Paulie G and a couple of us that he had a beef with some kids from Avenue U and 20th Avenue. Now, I think the kid OJ was there. The kid OJ, I knew his sister Rafif. Rafif and I was always very cool. I always was friendly with her. She had a little son, Sal, cute kid. They say it was Sal Temperino's baby. I don't know, but that's what she said. But I was always on good terms with her because me and her, we knew some mutual people from Avenue, some girls that I used to hang out with. And they were good people. I didn't know her brother, OJ. I didn't know anything about the 20th Avenue kids. I heard about them, might have passed by with them a couple of times in my life before we got into all this killing spree with them and, battles with them. But so in Great Adventure, there's a beef. Chestnut comes back, tells Paulie G, me, a couple other kids that this kid Arthur, OJ, and that they had a beef. So it turns out one day Chestnut is on Bay 23rd with a couple kids, and Arthur, OJ, and a couple other kids come and visit Bay 23rd. Like they're gonna do something to Chestnut. And this is all over a girl because this girl lived in the neighborhood, and every time this girl walked through the neighborhood, she would get abused. I mean, back in the day, a lot of my friends were pretty, they were tough kids. They weren't nice kids. They might spit on you. And that's what happened back in the day. There wasn't a lot of respect with these kids on the avenues. So she must have went back and said, listen, so-and-so spit on me. And the kids end up coming to Bay 23rd. When they come to Bay 23rd, they jump out of a car and they jump Chestnut. Okay, they lump him up, couple knots on his head, stuff like that. Nothing seriously. And now Chestnut wants revenge. Okay. And what happens is there was a club, the Esplanade, located on Bay 50th and like Cropsey Avenue, between Cropsey and Bath, okay, on the side over there. And everyone used to go to the Esplanade. And one night, Arthur's at the Esplanade. The kid Chestnut's driving around. He sees the kid Arthur, and he waits outside. And the kid Arthur comes outside and he takes a piss. When the kid Arthur takes a piss, the kid Chestnut, my friend, runs up to him and shoots him from behind. Pop, 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 pop. Okay? He kills the kid Arthur. Now, the kid Arthur definitely did not deserve to die. He was a good kid, came from a good family, polite kid, and this is where the chaos starts. Now, if you kill one of my friends, now eventually me and my friends were going to retaliate, and that's what happened with Arthur. Okay? So, Arthur dies. Arthur's a really good kid from the neighborhood, very well respected, and people are mad, So what happens is now Chestnut, starts becoming a little more vicious. He starts making a reputation for himself. Paulie G is giving him a lot of confidence. Now listen, Paulie G is my guy. I love Paulie G to the end of his life. Okay? He did a lot of things. He had more class than my friends, more class than Fabrizio, Reynolds, Calco, all of them. He was a class act kid, and there were certain kids he didn't want to deal with. And there were certain kids that Reynolds, Calco, and Fabrizio wanted to deal with. So he was more on my side, Paulie G, what guys I really didn't care for. And Paulie G was a strong kid. He was powerful, has balls, and he was the leader of our crew. And without him, I don't think none of us would have gotten so far, because Joey Calco was a fuck up, and Tommy Reynolds, as much as I grew up with him and he was my dear friend, but he was a fuck up too. They both liked drugs. Okay. Fabrizio was always a good kid. Every so often he would take a pill, smoke a joint, and Fabrizio excelled later on. He was never really in the crew until after. So Arthur gets killed. Now Paulie G and Chestnut is driving around, and they see the kid OJ, okay, on 17th Avenue, and 80th Street, maybe 82nd Street, 81st Street, and they're pulled over. In the car with OJ is Little Dino. This is Little Dino. Okay, Dino at the time was not a Colombo soldier. He was just a regular associate. And he is now serving time with Tommy Reynolds. He got a 50-year bid because his own cousin, Dino Calabro, testified against him. And he's selling with Tommy Reynolds, which also got 42 years, but Tommy just got a sentence reduction. But this is Little Dino, okay? Now, at the time, Little Dino ain't nobody. All Little Dino is an associate just like all of us. We're all associates running around, shooting people, robbing people, getting into trouble, making a reputation for ourselves, and we want to be gangsters like these other guys in the neighborhood. Little Dino was around the Colombo people, we're around the Bonanno people, and so Paulie G and Chestnut, they see OJ sitting in his car just chilling, and the kid Dino, Little Dino, is sitting right next to him. Paulie G and Chestnut get out of the car. They park the car a block away. They both have guns on them. They walk up to the car, and Paulie G's on one side and Chestnut's on the other, and they start popping at both of them. Pop, 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 pop. And they're aiming at their chest and their belly. Okay? The kid OJ dies. Little Dino Saraceno, obviously he survives. And this creates a big thing now. Now this is a war. I'm saying Chestnut killed Arthur, and now Paulie G and Chestnut just killed the kid OJ and shot the kid Dino. So now there's going to be a retaliation over here. You know, as much as Paulie G, how tough he was, in all honesty, you know what? He could have been something really big if he thought things through and he gave people respect and made people feel important, because he was a handsome kid. He was a tough kid. He was an earner, and people liked him. I'm saying he was respectful. So now Little Dino is alive. OJ's dead. They go to his wake. Now Little Dino has Dino Calabro. You got Richard Greaves. You got Anthony Basili, and you got a few other friends that they have. You know. Now, growing up, you had a whole bunch of crews. I mean, Mike DeRosa was on Bay 13th Avenue. The Bath Avenue kids were on Bath Avenue. You had 11th Avenue. You had Mario Gallo. You had Jimmy Galleone, Louis Tuzio. But nobody liked these 20th Avenue kids. For some reason, nobody liked them. And later on in the course, they do a lot of work. You know, they end up killing a cop. They kill one of their best friends, Richard Greaves. They killed a couple other people. And, you know, this is how the neighborhood was. But one thing about me, I never killed none of my friends. And my friends killed my friend. So they have to live with that. So they're still a part of the statistic. I was never involved in killing one of my friends. I was always one to kill for my friends. So even though that life is garbage, and thank God I'm out. So now there's a war, okay? They want to get retaliation on Chestnut and Paulie G. Now, Paulie G is friendly with us. He's with us all the time. Chestnut, he's with us sometimes, but then he's always on his own and hanging out with some other young kids, maybe John Padone, some kids from Bay 23rd. But if there's a problem, he's always touching base with Paulie G. So, you know, there's a big thing that's going on. The Colombo guys come and talk to Sparrow, and they're trying to straighten all this mess out. One time, I'm on the corner of Bay 16th and Bath in front of Sparrow's Club, and Dino Calabro and the kid Richard Greaves pull up in a Corvette, and they go, Jimmy. I mean, I really didn't know them. We seen each other before. I was in their collision shop. They told Gerard, you know, don't ever bring Jimmy here again. And they asked for Anthony Sparrow. Jimmy, is Sparrow in the club? I said, I'm not sure. I mean, I was on the corner. So I walk in the club. I see his Sparrow's there. I said, no, he's not there. They said, okay, thanks, And I was the type of guy where I could get along with everybody. I'm saying these kids, I know, what I mean? They're just as tough as us. They're around people. But Paulie G had a different idea, and sometimes Paulie G was stubborn, you know. But this is Paulie G, and he was he was a tough kid, leader of our crew, and he's saying salute, cheers to all you people out there in memory of Paulie G, because he was definitely one guy for his friends. He really was. And let me give you another photo. Here is Chestnut, Paulie G, and John Padone. John Padone got the Beth Avenue, New Jersey on. That's Chestnut. See how young Chestnut looks? And Chestnut, listen, Chestnut was a good kid. You know why? Like I said, in our neighborhood, you become a product of your environment. So what happens is we're beefing with these Bay Parkway kids. And one day, Chestnut is at his girlfriend's house, and he leaves the house, ends up going home. His girlfriend lived on Bay 17th and Rutherford. Hops in the car, goes to his house. Now, when he gets to his house, he steps out, and Dino Calabro, Tommy McLaughlin, and maybe Little Dino Saraceno, not sure. They jump out and they kill Chestnut. Okay? Pop, pop, pop. They kill Chestnut right in front of his door. If you ever went to Chestnut's house, on his wall in his building, it says FM. That's his initials. Okay? And so Chestnut dies. When that happens, I'm with Paulie G in Paulie G's basement watching old-time fights like Willie Pep, Rocky Marciano, Rocky Graziano, and all the old-time fighters. And Paulie G's mother comes down, and Millie, and she says, Paulie, did you hear the shots? There's an ambulance down there, down the street. So we go out, and me and Paulie G, we run down near the ambulance. And we see Chestnut going into a stretcher with Chestnut's mother. Speaking in Italian to Paulie, what happened? I'm saying, what is this? I'm saying all kinds of crazy stuff. Talking in Italian. And, Paulie's pissed off because Paulie loved Chestnut. And so Chestnut's dead. Now Paulie G wants to get revenge for Chestnut. And this is what went on. Okay? So we have Arthur's dead. OJ's dead. Chestnut's dead. And eventually Paulie G gets murdered by his own friends. So I'm just giving you an idea of how the neighborhood is run. Okay? And I'll give you a quick right here. For example, this is a photo of me, Paulie G, Georgie Adamo. Paulie G and Georgie Adamo were both murdered. Okay, here's another quick photo. Polio and Georgie Adamo. Polio was murdered, Georgie Adamo was murdered. So I'm giving you a quick idea of me, Georgie Adamo. Georgie Adamo was murdered. I'm saying every photo I'm in, there's someone that was murdered. So this really affected me and it bothers me. This is the reason why I talk about this and I tell these stories. But a waste of life, Arthur gets killed. OJ gets killed. Chestnut gets killed. Paulie G gets murdered. And that whole life is a waste of life. Now, let's look at the picture today. Dino Saraceno has 50 years. Tommy Reynolds, okay, he got 50 years. Hopefully, he got another 10 years, 9 years come home. Fabrizio in jail, 35 years. Paulie Galino dead. Georgie Adamo dead. Joey Calco, he cooperates after he kills Jack Sharon and Paulie G. He cooperates And he has that big information on Sparrow and Joe Benanti because Joey Calco is the one who pulled the trigger on Paulie Galino. Now, I'm not at that murder. You know, Paulie Galino's on my indictment. I have nothing to do with the Paulie Galino murder. The only murder that I was involved in was with Reynolds and Joey Calco, a double homicide. The woman that was killed by accident, 3 people were there that corroborated the story. And Vincent Bickelman, I conspired to kill him with my friends, and Paulie G ends up killing him. But there were 7 murders on that indictment. 7. Louis Tuzio was on it. Vincent Bickelman was on it. I think Joe Pizza was on it. But there's a lot of murders on that indictment. So all we did was kill each other, and it was a waste of life. Now, when I got on this indictment, I just finished doing 6 years in prison. And now, 11 months later, I'm back on an indictment, okay? My family's telling me, Jimmy, is this true? You know what I mean? What happened? And I don't even want to say it because I'm ashamed of it. I'm saying that I had to be there. And eventually, I come forward and I say, listen, you know what? Okay, I want to talk. My family tells me, Jimmy, this life gave you nothing but prison and heartache and pain, okay? And now this was my time to get out. That's when I came forward and I got out. I wanted out of that life. This was a good way to get out. I cooperated. Call me what you want. But you know what? I'm my own man, and no one tells me what to do. Okay? I don't have to answer to nobody. When I make my money, I don't have to hand it to nobody. Okay? I have a better life. I have 2 beautiful kids. And I'm very happy. I'm successful. I have a nice team behind me that I listen to. And, you know, this YouTube is not for slandering people and smearing people and calling people out. This YouTube is to build a channel, build a brand, okay, network with good people. And hopefully you make some friends out of this. You know, one day, hopefully we could get together. What I'm doing is right now, I am creating a get together, a meet and greet. I want Fatball Sicilian there. I want Gunsmoke there. A couple other content creators will be there. They'll have some merchandise they can sell. You could take some photos with them. We'll all have a nice dinner together, maybe a drink. And that's what I'm going to be creating for the near future. It might happen the end of August, the beginning of September. And also, if you want to be invited to this, you have to go to my Patreon channel and subscribe. Subscribe to my Patreon channel because that's where all the information will be coming out. Okay, if you want to come and join us and make a nice memory. So join my Patreon channel, and it's like $4.99 a month. It ain't nothing. Okay, you're supporting me. I don't want no super chats, none of that. And there is also perks with certain Patreon level 1, level 2, stuff like that. But some of them have where you get a discount on my merchandise, where you could get down and sit down with me and have dinner alone and talk to me on a one-on-one basis. But you know what I'm looking to do with my channel. I'm gonna be going out on the field. I'm gonna be doing some filming. I'm gonna put something around my neck, and I'm probably everywhere I go, it's gonna be filmed. I'm gonna probably film my whole life. I'm saying, so you know, I'm looking forward to this. And that's a Beth Avenue story, a sad one of all my friends who was murdered, us killing the 20th Avenue kids, them killing some of my friends, and at the end, all the families cry. So I hope you enjoyed this short story. But Paulie G was a beast. And after this one, I got a funny story about Paulie G I'm going to share with you. So with that said, to all you guys out there, listen, I thank you for your support. I love you all. And I have a lot of people coming on soon. I'm reading this book, Operation Family Secrets. I'm going to have Frankie Calabrese on. He's got a great story. We're going to listen to him and hear his story. And that'll probably be Monday or Tuesday or something. But with that said, everyone, listen, have a great weekend. I love you guys. Stay strong, stay well, and until my next video, I love you guys. Bye.
The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed, it's a gutter. There's no happy endings in this life. So this is my message to you.